All right. My number one film of the year.
All right, doing the drum roll.
I appreciate it. The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I love this movie.
Very good pick, man.
But I don't know how to describe this, but it's basically a werewolf cop thriller comedy horror movie played by, Jim Cummings, who wrote it. He stars in it. He's the director. He did Thunder Road, which I still have not seen somehow. And it's great. It's like a little mountain town. I think they're in Utah. Mm-hmm. And there's it's a very sleepy town. I think they say, there's a murder every 2 years or something in their community. So suddenly there's some very vicious, brutal murders. And, people are debating, and even the cops trying to solve the crimes. Or is this a man? Is this an animal? Like, what's going on? People think it's a werewolf. So it's a werewolf horror movie with all kinds of different kind of criminal elements of a great kind of detective movie in a way. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of got like the tortured detective, the narrator of Fight Club was like trying to solve a crime. It's kind of got like that kind of feel in ways. And Cummings is like a huge David Fincher fan, so he drew a lot of inspiration from like Zodiac and Mindhunter and how Fincher does detective work in movies. He really wanted to kind of help try to emulate that, but it's incompetent, very flawed, like emotionally and intellectually people trying to solve these like goofy murders.
Yeah, it's like your country bumpkins, like kind of Fargo-esque types trying to deal with real grisly murders and everything.
Right. People are, they're used to the occasional traffic ticket or, calling for, domestic disturbance or break up a bar fight at the tavern. They're not used to serial murder. So as they kind of try to figure that out, Riki Lindhome is also in this from Garfunkel and Oates, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what their band is called?
She's great. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I feel like she got a good, she shows up in a lot of things these days, but I feel like she tends to be like almost like background a lot. Like she's in Knives Out, but she gets like 5 lines or something. And it's nice that she...
When was she in Knives Out?
She's like...
Man, I totally missed
somebody's spouse in Knives Out, but she's in it so little you'd forget she's there. But she's a very... whenever you give her chances to shine, especially as a comedic actress, she's really good. And I think this was a great... Margie Gunderson type of role is really, really a good spot for her.
Yeah, there's a great scene where one of the local businesses is, kind of they put up a sign, they put, kind of those classic like marquee with like letters that you would put up on a church or put up, and she's basically kind of like in a very nice cutesy way, like threatening to like give this guy a ticket if he doesn't like for expired plates, if he doesn't, like there's cute little parts of it that really play well to her character and things like that. But she's great in it. It's got Robert Forster in his final role before he passed, so the film is kind of dedicated to him after as the credits roll. But it's obviously number one on my list. It's funny, it's scary. I actually watched it a second time last night. I bought it on Amazon. It's $6
Hell yeah.
To buy it on Amazon, so I bought it, had Ash watch it. She was like, yeah, loved it. Like that was great. It held my attention the whole time. Mm-hmm. Half the time I'm looking over and Ash is looking at cat videos on Instagram. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean that is always she is the litmus test, I feel like, for
absolutely
normal people.
So if Ash approves of it, you know what I mean? It's you got something on your hands. Go check it out. Again, like the less said, the better.
Yeah, you should just.
The trailer sucks. Yeah. I don't know who cut their trailer. It doesn't serve the film well. It looks like a goofy like student film trailer.
The movie seems like it kind of has to gain some momentum, and it's like that's one of the best things about it is like so much of the stuff comes from the characters, but you kind of have to like establish who the characters are first, and then like when the plot starts getting really crazy, it starts gaining momentum and everything. But man, the characters are so good in this. Like Jim Cummings too is like such a good, like the fact that he can direct himself and kind of has such a sense of like non-ego to like, he has some scenes where he really has to like kind of both bare his soul, but also you just look like a total dumbass sometimes too. So like that takes balls in a movie that's your project, you know?
Yeah, I was watching an interview with him, and a lot of the subplot is Jim Cummings is kind of he's dealing with trying to kind of live up to his father is the current sheriff, and he's trying to deal with living up to the assumption that he's just kind of take over, hopefully when his dad kind of retires, and the pressures of that, plus the pressures of this murder he's desperate to solve. He feels kind of tortured that these people are being killed in his community, and he's being blamed for the continued violence and killings and things like that. So he kind of, like, listening to an interview with him, he was talking about how this character is kind of going through a nervous breakdown, and that's how he felt, because he got a lot of studio pressure to actually. They filmed the entire movie, and then they were like, hey, you need to go back and do some more here and more there. And so he was saying that he had to write the scenes, some of the scenes that are in the trailer, some of the scenes where, he's a recovering alcoholic. So he's in AA meetings, and he's describing how his life feels like he's freaking out. And he basically was just saying, like, that was my experience. I was writing scenes about how to explain how I'm freaking out. And that's what he was actually doing. So,
wow. That's amazing.
Like, he really put himself in that. And then you're the writer, you're the director, you're acting it, so.
And not to put too fine a point
totally
on it, I'm sure dealing with the whole Robert Forster situation too, like, they seem like they dealt with that very well and everything like that, but I can only imagine having, a legendary actor pass away in the middle of you filming your film. That's just like the cherry on top of the shit sundae,
Yeah, that can't help. And even Ash noticed that. She was like, well, that's kind of awkward that he just, like, what happened? Like, they just, and I was like,
that was real life, baby.
He died. yeah. I mean, that she was like, yeah, they didn't really gladly explain that, this or that or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, he's just, that really happened. Well, there you go.
Yeah, super good pick there. I totally agree. This was a very unique movie, and I'm totally wanting to see what he's got in his mind next or whatever. But yeah, definitely check out Thunder Road too, because it's funny, like, how similar they aren't, like, super similar, like, they're kind of tonally similar. Like, Thunder Road definitely isn't a horror movie or anything, but it's almost like Wolf of Snow Hollow could be a sequel to Thunder Road. Just because it's
like a cousin or something, kind of related.
Just because it's like Jim Cummings is this poor put upon cop character, like he has kind of similar scenes of just bearing his soul in front of people. So he's good at that. I'll definitely give him credit.
Well, he's great in it. Go check it out. Support small. It's $6 on Amazon. Just buy it. Don't even rent it. Just throw it on for people. See what they think. It's great. I don't know anyone that's been disappointed about it. It's been. There's a ton of people with great reviews on it on YouTube if you need further convincing.